DJ Pest is on the beats, ladies and gentlemen.
You rocking with DJ Pest, you know everybody hates Pest.
We rocking with DJ Pest, everybody hates Pest. That way, huh?
Rocking with my bro DJ Pest. Everybody hate Pest except me though.
The grind, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the hustle, the culture, the business, the budget, the paper, the muscle, the grind, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the hustle, the culture, the business, the budget, the paper, the muscle, the grind, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the hustle, the culture, the business, the budget, the paper, the muscle, the grind, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the hustle, the culture, the business, the budget, the paper, the muscle, grind culture.
Hey yo, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy DJ Pest, aka the bad guy. It's real, man. Doors slamming, but we lit. You feel me? Because you just tapped into the grind culture. Brand new episode for you. I got my guy Big Doobie sitting across from me.
What's happening?
Detroit to AZ energy, you know, is what's about to be coursing through this whole video.
You know it.
As I say on every episode as it starts, I want to know about you.
Mm-hmm.
The music, that's cool. But I want to know, how did you get to where you at, you know? So, let's start from the beginning.
Okay. The beginning, like Detroit, growing up in Detroit in the 90s, you know what I'm talking about? Like, life was great for me. You know what I'm talking about? Like, even, like, regardless to what poverty level, whatever, anything like that, like, a kid in Detroit in the 90s, like, we ain't sweat that because it was like, kind of like how Atlanta is today, you know what I mean? It was black unification, like your whole neighborhood knew your whole family and everybody. Like if you from over here, it don't matter where you at, somebody looking out, you know what I mean? Like, so it was a different type of energy growing up in the 90s of Detroit, you know what I'm talking about? Like, I loved it, you know what I'm talking about? So, you know, towards but the end of the 90s, I came out here originally to Arizona in 2000.
The year 2000.
Yeah, the year 2000.
Why?
I started getting into trouble in the city. So, you know, my mom and pops had split up. I was staying with pops, and my aunt and uncle had came out here in the 90s and started a church and all that. You know what I mean? So they had been out here, but you know, that wasn't nothing.
Arizona was on nobody's
I'm like,
radar.
Man, I'm going out there. Like, I didn't even think it was street. Like, our perception of Arizona was so throwed off. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I didn't think it was streets. I thought my auntie and them was out here riding horses. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, man, I ain't about to be out there riding no horses. Gee, that's
wait. Before you go on, because I look back at it now, it's so funny. Did you ever see that Martin episode?
Which one?
The Martin episode where one of the kids, they was going to make the kid go to Arizona.
You know, from Arizona?
Yeah. You feel me? So that I'm agreeing with you on the perspective.
I do want to go to Arizona.
Yeah.
I remember exactly.
Yeah.
The boy faked like he was his son. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. But that was my perception of Arizona. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking dirt roads, cowboys, you know, everybody out here riding horses. You know what I mean? Like, I had no idea, you know, of anything really outside of Detroit or maybe Ohio or Canada. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much was my realm. You know, we'd go to Ohio, we'd go to Cedar Point or something, we'd go over to Canada, you know, we'd go to Babalo or something, like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, we'd go take a little trip, maybe St. Louis, Chicago. Look, my pop's bowling, you know, we'd go to these different little places in the Midwest for bowling tournaments and shit, but I just had no idea. So once I started getting into real trouble, you know what I mean? Like, all right, they used to tell me shit like, nigga, you gonna end up dead or in jail. You know what I mean? Like, that's something as a kid, like a lot of times when you hear stuff when you're young, you disregard it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to, you know, that's just a young person's rebellious spirit. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't want to hear this shit from these old niggas, or I don't want to hear this shit from my aunties or whoever, woo-woo. But as you get older, those are the things that resonate with you when it's time to make decisions. You know what I'm talking about? Like my auntie used to tell me as a kid, like, you gotta learn how to stand on your own 2 feet. You know, I just like, why she always telling me shit? You know what I mean? Like, why she always got something to say to me? You know, but really she was dropping jewels on me. As I got older, it was her voice in my mind when certain situations come up. Ain't nobody got to take care of you when you get after you turn a certain woo, all this. Like, I was like, what's she talking about? Like, I'm 8. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear this shit about ain't nobody got to take care of me. Like, I am a boy. You know what I mean? Like, But as I got older, I'm like, oh shit, she wasn't talking shit and picking on me. She was giving me the game. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that. I had to get older and understand. But moving out here, like, I went to Chandler High School. You know what I'm talking about? Like, and there was no hip hop culture here in the year 2000 that I knew, that I seen when I came here. You know what I mean? Like, let me tell you what was going on, what was real prevalent. So my cousins Mike and Dre, you know, shout out Mike and Dre, Doobie. You know what I mean? Like, they were already here. That's my aunt and uncle's son, so they was already here. So when I got here, you know, they all into the church and all that, and I told them, like, yo, I rap, because when I was in Detroit, I had already started, like, I started writing raps maybe, like, I'll say 8th or 9th grade. You know what I mean? Like, I wrote my first rap probably younger for a talent show we had did. Like, I still remember all my first rhymes and all of that. You know what I mean? But I wrote a talent show rhyme, and we got a real dope reception. Me and two of my homeboys, Lee Maloney, like, you remember people first and last name, like, yeah. You know, Lee, that's my man. You know, like, Lee Maloney, like, we was in elementary school together, so we had came up, and my man Armand, I forget Armand, man, I think it was Madison or something. I don't know. You know, it's crazy how you remember, like, elementary classmates, first and last names, but. You know, me, Lee, and Armand had did a little 3-man rap group we had to do like a positivity thing. We was going to Coolidge, I think it was, like Coolidge. So that was dope. I was like, okay, I like this. You know what I mean? Like, I always been a writer. You know what I mean? Like, I always like to write. I would even like before the internet and all that, I read a book and be down there, rewrote the whole book just because I'm bored. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I read and write the shit at the same time, just being on some bored shit. So I used to try to write little poems and shit like that and make little rhymes up. But then, like, once I really got, because, like, we were in a bubble. My mama wasn't really letting us listen to no rap and all that kind of shit. Little. You know what I'm talking about? Like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, that shit was out the door. But I remember, like, I go over to my grandmother's house, and my uncle would be there, and he'd be banging some shit and it used to make me feel a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? But I didn't understand it that being that little, because my daddy don't listen to that. My daddy listening to jazz and oldies, and you know what I mean? Like, he a big jazz buff, so he walking around playing air instruments all day. He was a DJ, so he had a lot of records. He would spin all records all the time. You know what I mean? Like, old Boosie Collins and all that. Like, I used to be looking at these album covers like, there's titties over here, you know what I mean? Like, but my pops, you know what I mean? Like, his record collection is ridiculous. He got crates on crates on crates, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, you know, so I started writing raps probably like 8th or 9th grade, but only like my homies that I was around really knew I could rap. And then I started killing niggas in the lunchroom probably like my sophomore year. You know what I mean? Like, that's when I started to get in trouble and shit too. Like, that type of attention, I started to really fuck up that sophomore year. So summertime sophomore year, they like, we gonna send you to Arizona. You know what I'm talking about? So all right, we came out here, and it was just supposed to be on some summer vacation shit.
Oh, word.
Yeah, it was really just supposed to be on some getting them away from here, let them see something different, woo-woo. And I came out here and was completely culture shocked. You know what I mean? Like, I was completely blown, like, as a kid, to come out here and be like, I ain't never even seen a Mexican kid before. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I never even really seen no white kids, except for, like, we'd go to a bowling alley and, you know, they'd be down there somewhere, but you know, people don't want to talk about it, but black people be racist, you know what I'm talking about? Like, and my parents was kind of racist, so they didn't let us interact with the white kids that we seen, you know what I mean? They would tell us these little throwed off ass Negro spirituals in regards to white people that would have us kind of scared of them, you know what I'm talking about? Like, in regards to lice and all this kind of shit, you know what I mean? Like, whatever it would be, but, you know, we were too impressionable. We little kids, so if I would see a white kid, I'd kind of be scared to even get close to him. You know what I mean? Like at a bowling tournament or something. So I had never had a conversation with no white kids, no Mexican, nothing outside of black. You know, Detroit was like 98% black in the 90s. You know what I'm talking about? Like I never seen outside of a teacher. You know what I mean? Like I remember Miss Coaches was white. I had a white third grade teacher. You know what I'm talking about? Like, but other than that, like a white person in my house, you know what I'm talking about? Like, or anything outside of black coming into my home or having a conversation, sharing a meal, anything, like it was just something I had never experienced. You know what I'm talking about? So to come out here and to see these different cultures and to become friends and get these close bonds with people that they welcome me and teach me about their culture, because I generally want to know, you know what I'm talking about? Like, that's how I came out and was able to really move around the city the way I was out here, is because people were interested in me being from Detroit. You know what I'm talking about? Everything that they hear, the stigma from Detroit, the way that I talk, you know what I mean? And then I was killing niggas in the flow. So that's what we're getting back to. So when I came out here, Mill Avenue used to be popping. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about like you can walk down Mill and see like 2 or 3 ciphers going on, headhunters. You know what I'm talking
about? I hear a lot
like,
about that.
Like, my nigga, that's where I first saw like some of these people that's out right now. First, like I remember in my head, I seen Justice out there before spitting. I seen, who else did I see out there? There was a female rapper named Kitch Kitchen or something like that. Like her name was Kitch. And she was taking niggas' heads off out there too. You know what I mean? Like, those are names that really stood out to me as far as like who was out there snapping on niggas and taking niggas' heads. So when I moved out here, my aunt, you know, they got the church. They laying down church rules on us instantly. Like, I don't know if y'all know, like, you live in a pastor's house, you have to abide by church rules. You know what I'm talking about? We can't be listening to secular music is what they call it. Like, they dictating what we watch, what we listen to, all that shit. So but I'm the favorite, so I get a little leeway. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm gonna put something in the CD player. You know, I got my Walkman. I'm about to be listening to some Bone or something. You know what I mean? Like, niggas is not finna take away all of this. So they like, I told my cousins like, yo, I will kill these niggas in this cipher right now. They like, you spit? You know, my cousins didn't even know. You know what I mean? I'm like, my nigga, I'm the greatest. I was like 15, 16, you know what I mean? I'm the greatest, you know what I mean? Like, I've always felt that way. Like, when I put my raps together and I put my words together, I'm comparing myself to what I hear people who saying is great and all this, and I always feel like, man, I put my words together better. My rhymes is better. Like, I'm the best, you know what I mean? So my cousin was like, we gonna take you on Mill Avenue and we gonna see, you know what I'm talking about? So sure enough, I was like a kid out there, and they threw me in them ciphers, and I was going out there taking niggas' heads off in them ciphers, and that's how I started to know some people and even move around the city, because all I knew was Chandler when I came here. You know what I mean? Like, my Monty and them didn't have no business in Phoenix or no dealings. I spent years out here and never even came to Phoenix. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like, years just being in the East Valley. You know what I'm talking about? Like.
But around that time, it wasn't really too much out. Let's be real. Like,
yeah, I mean, but see, I didn't know. You know what I mean? I couldn't even. I know what. Like, I seen how Chandler grew. Like, the Chandler Mall was a cornfield when I moved out here. You know what I'm talking about? Like, we used to go out there and party. You know what I'm talking about? Like, from Chandler High School, they'd drive out there and mow down some of that bonfires. We out there getting faded, partying, music out. You know what I'm talking about? Like, before that, it was a mall. You know, it's so much stuff I seen. Like, I remember when these was just a bunch of empty fields, and you know what I'm talking about, old farmland and all that. So, like I honestly remember coming to Phoenix one time in high school. My boy JoJo, shout out JoJo Taylor, he took me to the Vistas. Like, now I know where we was being older and moved around, but JoJo had took me to the Vistas. You know what I'm talking about? His family, they from the Vistas, and they was having a party over there. You know what I mean? So me and JoJo had pulled up to the Vistas. I'm like, it's Bloods out here. Like, yeah. I'm like, yo, it's real life gang banging going on out here, ain't it? I was like, these is bloods. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man. I'm like, okay. Like, I was green. I ain't had no idea that was going on out here. You know what I'm talking about? Like I said, I've been in Chandler, and in Chandler, all them niggas is little Crip niggas. You know what I'm talking about? Like everything, I knew it was Crips everywhere because them niggas was. I didn't know the authenticity of their cripping, but boy, they was where them niggas was cripping. You know what I'm talking about? Like them niggas. Shout out my niggas, man. Like them Eloy niggas. Like I said, as I got older and I got around some of these OGs, they tell me the origins of some of these gangs in these cities. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, shout out, you know, them Eloy Crip niggas. I know that's real deal. You know what I'm talking about? But my niggas was in Chandler. You know what I'm talking about? Like. Everybody who I knew was, I ain't never even hear nobody say nothing about blood. I thought this was just a Crip ass state. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's nothing but Crippin' out here. He took me out there. I'm like, okay, like, oh, so it is other shit. You know what I mean? Like, this shit is big as fuck. I'm in a little ass bubble. You know what I mean? Because I'm in this church bubble. My auntie and them weren't really having that shit. So, I used to go to, my cousins would sneak me down the mill, getting the ciphers and shit, because they get hype. You know what I mean? Like my cousins be hype. They genuinely think I'm the dopest too. You know what I mean? Like they don't just be trying to gas me because I'm their cousin. They'll be quick to tell me, "No, nigga, that shit is trash." You know what I'm talking about? But they know that I'm coming to take niggas' heads off, and when niggas hear me for the first time, it's kind of like they be a mate. You know what I mean? Like they don't really know how to receive that shit. So I'm a kid, they'd come out like, nigga, I got 1,000 on my little cousin right here. You know what I mean? They trying to bet money. Hey, nigga, let me get some of that. Them niggas throwing me $20, $30. You just made $1,000, nigga. Give me some more. You know what I'm talking about? But shout out to my cousins, man. They used to take a nigga out there, but Chandler High, it was literally one dude who could rap at the school, and he wasn't really rapping. He was more like a telling a joke in a rhyme type of nigga. His name was Marcus. You know what I'm talking about? Like, he wasn't really rhyming. He was just on some goofball shit. But I just noticed, like, why is like half the school around this nigga for this goofy shit? Like, this shit ain't dope. Shout out JoJo. I'm like, yo, this was like my second day of school. This was like Power 92 back then. They came and came up to the school and brought the speakers out and all that type of shit. And they had that little Bow Wow instrumental playing, bounce with me, bounce. Like, I'll never forget that shit. Like, I'm listening to the beat, like, you know, for that year, that shit was banging. You know what I'm saying? Niggas say whatever they want to about Bow Wow. When that motherfucker JD put that bounce with me beat on, that shit was slapping. So, I'm hearing this nigga up there doing that goofball shit. I'm like, yo, I kill this nigga. And they like, what? You can rap, son? I'm like, yeah, I can rap. And they took me to the front of that shit, and I went up there and I spit my shit, nigga. He never rapped at the school again after that. You know what I mean? Like, it was over. He was done. He was like, no, I ain't the rapper. That's the rapper. You know what I mean? Like, but I was the only nigga in the school that could rap in real life. Like, nobody could rap. The niggas know. Even though a lot of niggas started rapping afterwards, some niggas I was even writing they rhymes for them and teaching them how to say them shits because they seen like this nigga then took over the whole school in a week. You know what I'm talking about? Like I'm the reason they banned rapping at Chandler High School. You know what I'm talking about? Like
it's banned.
It's banned, son. They took my whole notepads, Mr. Canusen. Shout out Mr. Canusen, man. But I was gonna battle against like these chicks had made up a rap about me because I was also like the class clown. I was also known for roasting me a nigga. You know what I'm talking about? So these chicks had made up some little rap about me, and they knew that, you know, after school it was my response. You know what I mean? Like, but you just got to the end of the day. You know what I'm talking about? Like, and I'm on y'all ass. So everybody was anticipating this response because they had did their little lunchtime presentation on me and whatever. Like, oh, okay. So when I first tried to do it at, you know, right after school in the courtyard, one of the chicks tried to scrap me. You know what I mean? Like she got touched. Yeah. she was in her feelings. You know, she tried to scrap me out. So they shut that shit down. So I'm like, fuck it, we gonna go outside the school. And Chandler built different now. They done tore down all them neighborhoods behind there. It's so crazy. Like, where'd these people go? This was a bustling neighborhood back here with houses and shit. They done relocated these people and made that football field bigger or some shit. But we went out there in the back. The whole school came. You know what I mean? And shut down the streets and all that. Nobody could drive through and all this. So here come Mr. Canusen in that golf cart trying to get through the crowd and all that. I'm standing on top of a car going to work, you know what I'm talking about? Pointing them out, roasting them, doing my thing, whatever. So he called me off the car, took me to the office. The next day they was putting it on the daily announcements like battle rapping is banned from Chandler High School from this point forward. Like battle rapping, like what are you talking about? Any forms of hip hop, rap being done by a student is banned. Like,
and this is still 2000.
Yeah, this was like 2000. Yeah, this was when I first came.
Yeah,
this was like 2000. So. But everybody's like, you the Biggie Chandler. You know what I mean? Like, you the Biggie. I'm like, nigga, no the fuck I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking rock with Tupac, nigga. Yeah. Like, being a kid, I didn't even really want niggas to know I like Biggie. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, oh, hell no, nigga. We rap with Pac over here. We thought he does that.
Yeah.
I don't know what you niggas talking about. It's like, no, nigga, you are Biggie. And like, the students used to write citations out, you know what I mean? Little jokes and shit, like, oh, this is a pretty face citation. They like, Biggie. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody start giving me these fucking Biggie citations and shit. Like, oh, hell no. So, all through Chandler, like, that's all everybody know me as is Biggie. Anywhere I go, they Biggie, you hear they yelling.
I mean, not still to this day, though.
To this day,
yeah.
If we go to Chandler, if you was to say Big Doobie, niggas gonna look at you crazy. Like, who? Like, unless they, following my, but friends of mine or old acquaintances that's not on social media know that I'm still doing music or whatnot, if they know, they still gonna call me Biggie. Even if they know I'm Big Doobie, they gonna call me Biggie because that's just, you have no idea. Different neighborhoods out here know me by different shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I can tell.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah, Chandler niggas, they calling me Biggie. You know what I mean? There might be some niggas over here that call me Big T. It's a whole group of niggas that only know me as Papa. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's just niggas give you a nickname when you know what I'm talking about? Like, when you move a certain kind of way, niggas gonna want to call you something like, man, I want to call this nigga this. You know what I'm talking about? Like, man, listen, this is my name, son. Like, what? And he's like, no, nigga, you so aggressive. You pop-pot, nigga. You, like, eat that spinach when you start rapping, nigga. I'm like, all right, my nigga. Like, shout out my nigga Elroy, man. He gave me that fucking Popeye nickname. It's all little kids walking there, Popeye. I'm like, oh, hell no. But that's how I started in regards to rapping or even moving out here to Arizona. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I was on Mill Avenue in them ciphers, and then I had to, shut down the schools and shit. Did the same thing, went to Mesa Community College, did the same type of shit. Same thing, Phoenix College. Shout out Rockadopolis, man. That's my man. That's how long I known this nigga, like 15 years. We go back to PC, you know what I'm talking about? Like, we was in Phoenix College together, championship teams, you know what I'm talking about? RP, my nigga Brandon, wide receiver. But we was, you know what I'm talking about? Like, I've been out here. Like, I just ain't never got serious and did no music. You know what I mean? Like, that was never a priority for me. You know what I'm talking about? Like, the streets was a priority. Getting money took precedent because I ain't had no kids or none of that shit. You know what I mean? Through my teenage or early 20s and none of that. Like, I wasn't out here shooting clubs up. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
so when you got out here, that culture shock got you together.
Yeah, it was like, it's so much more going on out in the world than Detroit. If I go back there, I'm limiting myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'm limiting myself. So I told my auntie I want to go to school out here. You know what I mean? I want to see what school is like here. So after that first semester of the 11th grade, I got in trouble.
In here?
Yeah, I caught a little charge. And so my auntie wasn't having that shit. Of course, she sent my black ass back to Detroit. So I did my second semester back at Redford, you know what I mean, of the junior year. And she like, if you want to come back out here, you better show me this semester that you ain't bullshit, you know what I mean? So, and it's so sad to say, Arizona school system was here and Detroit school system is here. So when I came back, I feel like I'm smarter than the teacher, this type of shit they teaching. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? Like, we in the 11th grade around this bitch, right? Like, this is clearly 7th grade work. You trying to pass off. I'm like, that I did a little traveling now, but I used to notice as a kid in Detroit, kids that traveled were smarter in class. You know what I mean? Like, if like kids that used to go spend some time away, you know what I mean, go other places and learn shit from other places, they seem to excel, you know what I mean? And I did not understand it until, but this was just like a secret thought I had in my mind as a kid. You know what I mean? I noticed like such and such, be like, oh yeah, we went to this city or this state for this amount of time. Then you see them working and shit, like, oh shit, nigga, you smart as hell in here. Like you out here learning. Like it's something about going out of town that make you smart. That was in my mind as a little kid in school. Just me being observant of my classmates and shit. Like, man, these out of town traveling motherfuckers be smart as hell in class, you know?
Yeah.
So I went to Arizona, did that first semester the junior year. When second semester I was in Detroit, it was easy peasy lemon squeezy. I definitely had a 4.0. If I didn't skip classes on some days, you know what I mean, to go fuck off, I'd have had a 4.0 because it was ludicrous how different the curriculum was. You know what I mean? Like it was night and day. You know what I'm talking about? Like I felt like I felt like I was smarter than my teachers when I went back, like 100%. Like if you teaching this shit and you don't know this shit for real, I got you. You know what I'm talking about? Like, so I come in, do my work, boom. My auntie and them came out there, let me see them grades. Them grades was together. Next day she had me on a flight. Like I said, I was the favorite. What? I didn't have to wait, not at all. Next day I was out of there. You know what I'm talking about? Couldn't wait to get back. Did my little summer, and then I came and graduated at Channel High for my senior year out here. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
just your high school travels is noteworthy.
Bruh, I'm telling you, man, I was out, like, we was moving around. You know, then I was doing gospel rap. You know what I mean? Like, when I moved here, like, I wasn't just doing gospel rap. I was one of the biggest gospel rappers. We were.
Where the tape at?
We tried out. This was before the internet. Blaine was there. Okay,
oh
like,
my God.
you could tell niggas you wasn't there. He was there. He know Big T the Demon Killer. You know what I mean? Like that was why. That was 100% my gospel rap name. Big T the Demon Killer. You know what I'm talking about?
And that travel that went well?
I'm talking about every youth event from New York to California. We was booked. We had a Christian clothing line, Fogwear, because the name of our whole company was Fog, Followers of God. You know what I mean?
Wait.
Yeah, bro. So when I moved out here, and like I said, I told my cousin them I can rap. The only way I could rap like regular would be on Mill Avenue. But when I get back into the Pastor in them house, that's on it. You don't even tell we was out. We went to go get some wings. You know what I'm talking about? Like, ain't no talking about I went out there and killed them niggas tonight. Ain't you like, oh no? You know what I'm talking about? So I'm like, man, I need, they like, we got the FOG, Followers of God. And that was just my cousin Mike and Dre, basically. You know what I mean? And then they had a little boy group that consists of my guy Isaiah that you be seeing with me, Zay, one of my little cousins Brandon, and Chauncey, right? Chauncey.
So y'all been down.
Oh yeah, I known Isaiah since he was probably like 8, 9 years old. You know what I mean? Like they was part of my auntie and them church before I moved to Arizona. So when I moved here and being in the church, all the people, you know what I mean? Like that's where I met some of my my lifelong friends. You know what I'm talking about? Like Blaine, that's how they know me since I was a kid. You know what I'm talking about?
Wait. Do you know any of these Followers of God verses by heart? Like, could you spit one right now?
Everybody, absolutely.
Give me 116 from the House of Jesus. Christ,
man.
Please.
I used to say, like, my biggest hit was, what's his name? Big T, y'all. Demon Killer. Yeah, listen. My cousins was singing the hook, what's his name? And then the crowd would be, Big T. Like, let me tell you something. I've been doing this rap right now for almost 2 years, a year and a half. Never have I gotten the same response that I got from gospel music as of yet. You know what I'm talking about? Not yet. I haven't reached that level in this that I did over there to where I'm going to, these churches are humongous. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to packed out churches here. Big T, y'all, Demon Killer. Like, what's his name? Big T, y'all, Demon Killer. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I still ain't, you know what I mean? We did something pretty big at the Beanie Siegel show. We had a nice response of people singing, snapping back to me. You know what I mean? But a Big T Demon Killer show? You talking about? I'm talking about, listen, let me try to see. I represent them demon killers. I ain't playing no games. I run up on a demon, separate his head from his brain. Like, I was really going. You know what I'm talking about? Like, listen, I'm telling you, hey, I've been that guy, man. I've been that guy. So I started writing raps for everybody in their own group, like FOG, ALC. That was another level of creation. That's the name of the little boy group. You know what I'm talking about? And we traveled. I'm talking about me, Fog, and we have Maisha as a singer.
Wait. I have so many questions. So when was this in your life? Because this is not sophomore year. This is senior year.
This is junior year, senior. This is the time I came to Arizona.
So did you grab your diploma from Chandler High, and were you still pursuing religious?
I got my diploma from Chandler High and retired Big T, the Demon Killer, all in the same day. The same day. Like, because, no, it wasn't. I would say maybe the first year out of high school, we was still touring. We still had the clothing line popping. That's when I turned 18 on my graduation day. I graduated May 30th. You know what I'm talking about? So that's my birthday. That's the day I graduated. I turned 18 the exact day I graduated high school. So it was like, okay, like, y'all can't force me to go to church no more. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I done moved out. I ain't here. I don't live here. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't live in the pastor's house no more. I had moved out probably sometime during, like, when I came back that junior year. You know what I mean? Like, excuse me, my mom Dukes, I hadn't seen my mom Dukes probably since the 8th grade. You know what I mean? All the way to junior year. Yeah. So that's 9th, 10th, 11th. That's like 3 years I had went without seeing my mom. Not from being here, because I was still in Detroit, but when her and my pop split, you know, it was one of them situations, you know what I'm talking about? So Moms was doing her own thing, and I was over here with Pops, and, you know, I didn't really get jiggy with the dude that she was messing around with, so I just stayed away, you know what I mean? So I had seen my mom's, she ended up going through something and moving out here while I was in Detroit from getting in trouble out here. So during that second semester of my junior year, they called me like, your mama came out here. I'm like, my mama? Like, I ain't talked to my Aunt Deuce in years. Like, what you talking about, my mama? So she came out. So by the time I got back out here for the start of senior year, I went over there and kicked it with moms. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm going to go over here and see what she on. And it wasn't no telling me what to do. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm grown. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I've been doing what I wanted to do since 8th grade, 9th grade, you know what I'm talking about? So there ain't no telling me what to do. So I knew I didn't have to go to church no more. So this was like my first real freedom out here. Like, all right, I ain't got to go to church, you know what I mean? I ain't got to sneak and do, because we was still partying all in high school, you know what I'm talking about? Like, I still party, but I be in church, you know what I'm talking about? Like, hungover, you know what I'm talking about? Wasted. Auntie smacking me all the time in my head, telling me I stank like weed, you know what I'm talking about? Like, I was just foul. So I knew, like, I can't be playing with God. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's what made me stop. You know, once we went on that last little tour and, you know, we was in Detroit, man. Like,
so this tour, this made it all the way to Detroit.
Yes. It was so many people in Detroit. We sold so much fogware in Detroit. Like, man, we did.
Do you still have a piece of clothing? Is there anything to show?
I think I got a cousin with a full fogwear outfit still, Rick. I think he still wear it. I might even be able to get him to send a picture.
I need a picture. I
got you. We had all the color. Even right now, let me tell you how recent I seen fogwear. I was at the gas station on 16th Street in Southern, and the old dude walked in with a crispy fogwear button up on. We had the button ups, you know what I mean, with the ill designs in them and everything. Like, you can wear them to work and all of that. Like, I'm talking about, I seen $100,000 for the first time through fogwear and gospel rap. That's the first time I seen $100,000. It wasn't from nothing else. It definitely wasn't from no working at that young, you know what I mean? And it definitely wasn't from the streets at that young either. The first time I seen 100 bands, I was 18, maybe going on 19, and it was from selling gospel clothes, Christian clothing, and from doing gospel rap shows all across the country.
We're never gonna get to where you are right now, and that's okay. I know you. Like, me and you talk almost every day. I've never known that you were a sensation in gospel rap.
I was.
So I'm letting you know right now, this remainder of the video might be about
That's fine.
the Demon Killer.
That's fine. That's fine, because don't nobody really, like, if you wasn't there, you don't really know. You know what I'm talking about? Like, because, like I said, once I stepped away, I wasn't still trying to lean on that to do nothing else, because I wasn't doing music no more at that point. I had transitioned to a full street nigga. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to these streets. I'm about to start from wherever I need to start from, and I'm trying to work my way up to wherever I need to work it to. So I can't even associate with that. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's still people that only know me as Big T, the Demon. Only, that's all they know. They don't not know nothing else about no other part of me. I see them, what's his name? They still yelling out lyrics. Like, you see, he still knows the song. It was huge. It wasn't just like some little thing. Like, it was huge. I go to church, little kids is rapping my music. You know what I mean? Because it was something that was cool for parents to do, but I ain't never even tried to look it up and see if it's somewhere online.
For the record, I'm looking on YouTube.
I never.
Keep it 100. Like, I was doing the media back then. I bought my first camera back then.
Okay.
So to say YouTube wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Facebook wasn't a thing. This whole media was not a thing. I'll tell you this. I still got Super 8 tapes on the little Sony Handycam.
I need them.
Now I'm gonna have to see.
I'm talking about, I used to do comedy shows. I did stand-up comedy for a Christian show.
So what was it? T the Demon Killer?
Big T, Demon Killer.
T.
I know it can't be. Like, who would, it would have to be you.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
But
You
it
would
wasn't
have
a
to be
thing
there.
upload back then.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2003, 2005. Like, YouTube didn't even come out till.
It didn't come out until 2008.
Yeah, this was definitely 2001, 2002,
This is
2003.
early 2000s. You
Yeah.
ain't gonna find them online.
If you watching this and you're a real fan of Big Doobie, I need something. I believe him. I'm not saying I don't believe him, but this is crazy
I'm telling you, man.
that this guy, one of his aliases is Big T the Demon Killer.
That's the truth, man. Listen, I put up on one of my boys, I seen him at a gas station, big truck driver. You know, he got a big Ram with the big sound. Adam Padilla, that's his name. So I seen Adam. He like, guess what, bro? I still got this. He still got the CD. He's still banging that CD. I'm pretty sure my aunt and uncle still got CDs, and Mike might have a CD. You know, my cousins might have some CDs lurking around, but there's definitely, you know what I'm talking about? I can even
Wait.
I got a tour picture.
You have a tour picture?
I got a
On
picture
your phone?
from. Watch, I'm about to show you this, man.
It's on your Facebook?
No.
Like, we big chilling right now, and this is grind culture, and this was part of the grind. You feel me?
This was 100%.
If it wasn't for gospel, he wouldn't be where he was at right now.
This is a fact.
So, see what I'm saying? It's a story we're telling, and this is my guy. I'm so flabbergasted that I've never ever known this. I've never known this, and we talk. I get on the phone with him, and we're talking for like hours, and he never once said, "Yo, I got a gospel verse." He never said, "Yo, wait, I have like a real career that I left to pursue rap." You know, so this is interesting. Right now, he's looking for a picture on his phone,
and I think I got fogware on in the picture. I 100% got fogware
Can I
on
see
in
this,
the picture.
please? So I'll have the video on. You can see this video. These Iversons too in your
Yes,
feet.
absolutely. Those are Iversons. I've been fresh with the feets. But that's a fogwear outfit with a fogwear headband right there. Like, that's the kind of denim suits, because you got to think this is the era of like the Jabot suits, the Guess suits.
Yeah, for sure.
We have fogwear denim suits. You know what I'm talking about?
How old are you in this picture?
16, 17, yeah. That's probably 17. I'm probably like 17.
You never had any aspirations to play sports?
Yes. I play football. But see, with me, like, as a little kid, my pops wouldn't really let me play sports. You know what I'm talking about? Like, he wasn't really with it. He was telling me, like, I got to stay focused on school.
Oh, okay.
He ain't want me to really, and then, like, I didn't drink milk. So I was allergic to milk. So I broke a bunch of bones young. You know what I mean? Like, I broke my wrist probably like 5 times. You know what I mean? Like, doing random shit. You know what I mean? Like, one time I'm boxing, and we boxing in a circle full of tires in Detroit. And, like, the tires is what we made a ring out of. And I stepped back wrong and fell, broke a wrist. You know what I'm talking about? Slip and fell in the store. Broke a wrist. You know what I'm talking about? Playing football on the streets, tackle football with grown-ass men, because I always been big and strong. And I like to hit. Like, I play ball, so, but we play with grown-ass man. Crack a nigga, break my wrist. You know what I'm talking about? Like, my pops was like, no, nigga, you ain't playing no sports. Your ass is going to be broke up. You know what I mean? Like, we went to the doctor, got calcium pills and shit like that. So I'm like, okay, I moved out here, and that was part of the decision of what school I went to, because they like, you can go to Hamilton or Chandler. You can go to Hamilton, it's like a new school, but it's a big football school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but they kind of established as a big football school. Or you can go to Chandler and you can come over here and make some noise. You know what I mean? Like, and play football over here and make some noise. And the coach, you know what I mean? It wasn't, I'm trying to think of what coach name was back. But my uncle and them, when they took me on these school tours, Hamilton had him sold. You know what I mean? My uncle was sold on Hamilton. And just off the strength of that, I'm like, Chandler. You know what I'm talking about? Like, man, you too happy about this Hamilton shit, man. I'm Chandler. You know what I mean? Send me to Chandler. And that's only one bus I got to take. You know what I mean? Ain't no Hamilton bus coming over here to the crib. The Chandler bus come over here. Like, no, I'm straight. I'm going to Chandler.
So you done rapping, because you grown, you ready to be, you want some other stuff.
Yeah.
You took a long break too, then.
Yes. So, over the years, I will always, like, I was a rapper. I was never an artist. You know what I mean? And there's a difference. I was a rapper on the strength that this was pre-internet still. I'll go to the studio and maybe, like, there's literally probably 200 unreleased, never heard songs that I've recorded since then, in between that and during that gap.
Yeah.
There's at least 200 songs. You know what I mean? Like, I go to a studio and really, like, record an entire album and then never do nothing with it. Just, I never even find out what it take to do something with it. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't my mindset then, because I was in and out of jail a lot. You know what I mean? Like, even if it wasn't for serious stuff at first, I was going to jail frequently. You know what I mean? Like, I get knocked for this, or some traffic this, anything they catch me, I'm going to jail. You know what I mean? I'm going to go do a 10 days or 17 days here, 10 days there. Like, you know, the county jail out here, I'm a veteran. You know what I'm talking about? Like, Arizona County Jail, I done been through Durangos, LBJs. You know what I mean? I did a whole year in the towers. You know what I'm talking about? Like, 4th Avenue, all
and
that.
And this is all from graduating high school
Yep.
to recently?
Yeah, well, I ain't been locked up in a minute now. Like, I ain't been locked up since, I ain't been in jail probably since, like, what, 20, I ain't been in jail since probably like 2010 or something like that. 2010 or 2011. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I might have, I think I went to jail in like 2014 for a couple of days or something, you know what I mean? But still, it's been a nice stretch, you know what I mean? Like, I know I ain't been in jail in the past like 5, 6, 7 years, you know what I mean? Like, because of course, like, my daughter getting older and all that, I ain't want them to see me to have a daddy going in and out of jail. So that's the reason why I changed a lot of the shit that I did, stop being as reckless, because I didn't have no kids, I didn't have no responsibilities, you know what I mean? So I was living life to the fullest. Anything that I did, I was going to do it to the fullest, you know what I mean? So if I'm hustling, I'm going to hustle to the fullest. I'm trying to go state to state and get this cake, you know what I mean? So that's how I got, you know, like, my best friend is from Milwaukee, you know what I mean? My ace, he from the mill, because, you know what I mean? And I done went out there and stayed with him for 9, 10 months on a run, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't, you know, my other ace, he from Vegas, you know what I mean? my other ace, he from Detroit, but we even damn near went to the same schools and was living in close proximity. But you know how Detroit is. I'm from, if I'm living over here on Plymouth and Asbury Park and he on Joy Road, in Southfield, even though we both right here off the Southfield Freeway, I never know you exist. You know what I mean? Unless we go to the same school. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's just how that was. But, I done lost where I was going, what we was even.
No, I'm talking about the time.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of time has passed, and you just
so that's what it was like. So I would go record a bunch of different songs. Like I did other things too. Like when J Times 3 was on the radio out here, shout out J Times 3. He was running the radio. He was the number one, VJ or D, whatever you want to call him on the radio for Power 98. So he used to hold these freestyle battles every Friday, and that's how I got known from a lot of other people. So I'm going to Phoenix College. I'm killing niggas in the lunchroom. Amari Stoudemire, homeboy Mike, shout out Mike. He going to school with us playing ball. And he like, yo, I know J Times 3. I'm going to take you to the radio station. Like, you code. I'm taking you to the radio station. All right. So we go down there. I kill niggas. You know what I mean? Boom, boom. 10 weeks in a row. You go to some like little Hall of Fame thing. But, people had to call in and vote. And it was like landslides. I was blowing niggas out. And then like the last week I lost to some rapper named Old Green Eyes or something like that. Like, and it was just because, he had all his people calling him. Even him after, he like, take it easy, long as you want, fool. You know what I mean? Like, let's get a song together. Hey, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, man, no, bro. Like, I ain't, like, fuck this rap. That was just another time when I was just like, man, fuck this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going back to the streets. Like, and I just wouldn't do nothing. You know what I mean? And then, shout out my guy Real and Sir Doty. You know what I mean? Like, my guy Real had a studio. And, you know what I mean? He had just let niggas come over there and record for like, we was young. I've literally went to the studio for like 36 straight hours recording. You know what I mean? And record like 20 or 30 songs in one session. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's how I know. There's a list of literally like 200 songs out. You know what I mean? Because I've had so many sessions like that. You know what I mean? But I was not releasing no music. You couldn't find out.
But at that point, why weren't you releasing music?
Just because, again, I never really knew or took the time to find out what it took to release the music. This was before the internet.
Yeah, I'm not saying, because, you would have to make mixtapes
and get out here and really sell them shits out your trunk or something and get to travel. I had nobody telling me anything. You know what I mean? Like, even though I haven't always been the oldest, even with some of my older cousins, whatever, but I've always been the big dog. You know what I'm talking about? Like to an extent. I don't have no OG. You know what I'm talking about? Like R.I.P. Jim Bob, that's like the closest thing I ever had to an OG. But other than that, I don't have no fucking OGs. You know what I'm talking about? Like I learned this shit as I go and just watch other people and learn from their mistakes so I didn't have to make them all. Even though I made plenty, but I learned from other people's mistakes also, and that helped me to guide me through, you know what I mean? Like everything that I've been doing and been able to do over all these years, you know what I'm talking about? And until I got into some serious trouble, and that's what really made me sit down and think like, okay, like I know that I'm the dopest rapper and I haven't been doing this music shit. So if God give me a second chance and get me out this shit, I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like, even though still it took me a long time, even after I got out of jail, because we jumped right into club promoting. You know what I mean? The Doobie Boys club promotion as soon as I came home. Like,
that's 2014? Or?
No, we started, this was like 2008. When did Obama get in office first? 8? Yeah, his inauguration was our first party. The presidential inauguration was like a Tuesday or something. We did like a penny drink and packed out Club PHX, which is now known as Monarch. We packed out Club PHX on a random ass Tuesday or some shit like that.
I did it like the night of.
The night of.
Yeah,
like we already knew he was winning. So we throwing a presidential inauguration, and it was like the whole Phoenix came out. Like everybody was happy for Obama. You know what I'm talking about? So we had a packed house and it was dope. So that was the start. That was our very first event that we threw out here as the Doobie Boys. We was going to clubs. We'd go to Mabel Murphy's, go to the Blaze, go to all these different places, paying for VIPs, making a name for ourselves as that, you know, popping bottles, throwing money, you know, fucking with the females, whatever, making a little name as just some party boy niggas. And it's like, nigga, let's start making money off this shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like, fuck spending all this money. Let's make some money. We gonna do this club promotion shit. And that shit took off. You know what I mean? Like, that shit took the fuck off like a rocket. And niggas was partying like rock stars for years. You know what I mean? Shit, that's how I got my daughter. You know what I mean? Like, all of that came from that activity.
And watch this. You watch this video, just to simply have to wait to hear the rest of the story on part 2. This was grind culture. We're not done talking about this, but we want to, you know, we don't want to have too much length on the video. You feel me?
Yeah.
So there's a part 2 coming real soon. It probably is going to be the next video. But this is Big Doobie. I am DJ Pest. This is grind culture. Make sure you hit subscribe. We really do appreciate the love we've been getting so far. So much more to come. Yeah.
The grind, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the hustle, the culture, the business, the budget, the paper, the muscle.